Good morning, guys. Hope you're doing okay. We've got a power speech coming up, so we've got to be aware of that. It's in 11 minutes. We've got a lot of high severity data out from Germany, more CPI, so that's of note. And then we've got a load of US data later as well. And I was kind of looking forward to the weekend. It's been a very choppy, and I'll show you the sentiment, how choppy that's been on the indices as well, especially the US 30. So just bear in mind is that they had sold the indices over the last 24 hours, so we know we're risk on. But we have to remember we've got a power speech, and he was really hawkish, and he was saying that uh, there's going to be two interest rate hikes this year, and the market was like, oh, that's a shock, and we saw a reaction on the dollar from that. Note that the yields as well, the treasury yields up, no, sorry, down Monday, up Tuesday, and now mixed. The short dated rose and the long dated fell, and that's causing the inversion of the curve to worsen. And this is what our yield curve looks like. So it's looking very risk off. That looks pretty ugly. So if the herd, the dumb money, they flip bias and then they start to go long on risk, it's not going to be particularly healthy at all, because this is a risk off indication. If the herd then go long and this flips, and they're actually going to be net positive, they're going to be bullish on indices, then we're going to get quite ugly, and we're going to see a massive, well, not a massive crash, but we'll see a correction. Okay, so bear that in mind. I'll show you the robot, and this is how the robot's opened, and this is how we've got positions going by the robot. And so we've got some basically dollar strength, and we've got a Euro Swiss long, but remember that you guys wouldn't have the Euro Swiss because we removed it. We've got a filtered list, and the Euro Swiss is on that naughty list, okay, because it had misbehaved 3 times now. And the reason for the Euro Swiss to misbehave 3 times in a row is, I think it's to do with the trading volume, and the retail don't really trade the Euro Swiss. They'll trade the New Zealand dollar, USD. They'll definitely trade the pound, USD, but they might not be trading the Euro Swiss. So it's more to do with interest rate differentials, fundamentals, macro stuff. It's not really sensitive to sentiment, whereas the majors are sensitive to sentiment. Okay, so that's the reason for the Euro Swiss misbehaving. It's possible we're going to go into positive, which would be nice. You note that the total has decreased because I had some gold trades that I wanted to be testing the trading stop, and we never got to the trading stop, so I just exited. So that's decreased quite a bit, but that's the logic there, is that you wouldn't have gold and you wouldn't have the Euro Swiss. Okay, so just a quick one there, and we're looking for dollar strength. So that's off note. Okay, remember we've got the power speech in 9 minutes, so it's hard to say, because he was hawkish yesterday. He might play down his hawkishness and like sort of reassure the market, and then if so, we could pump on risk. It all depends on what the algos, how they interpret the speech, and they've got keyword algo. So if he says a particular word more than once, then it will fire off a keyword algo, and then it will send a massive buy order on like the Dow Jones or Nasdaq or anything like that, and will pump. So, and if this pumps, it's going to hurt the dollar, right? And then our robot will be undergoing some drawdown. So it's very tricky. So definitely keep an eye on your indices if you can. This falling should help the USD. It should help the yen. Okay. And like I said in Discord about the yen, we've got to be really careful because we're extreme, and we've got a possible Bank of Japan intervention as well if we carry on rallying on cross yen. So be careful. Right? So this is what I mean by the US 30. It's just chopped. So we should be above this level because I've sold it here. But we've got a lot of risk events today, haven't we? And so we've got something here. We've got a map. It might be this one. No, it's this one. Right, okay, so this is support, right? And there's a resistance here as well. So we've got lots of overlap of sentiment. So buy, but we've got a sell because they've gone long here. So this is what I mean. This is why the Discord was a bit tricky, because we've got loads of overlaps. We've got a box here we need to draw here. But these supports, they should be okay, because if they sell it, there should be someone to counter that trade, right? So we should be above 33900 because of the fact they sold it. So how legit this is possibly phony, and this is going to be a support. It should be a support because they sold it, okay? So that's the logic. Remember not to just use the sentiment on its own. You've got to be looking at other things as well. So that's that. That's US 30. And I don't know if you can hear the rain outside. I think you might be okay, but it's raining quite hard right now. Let's make a box. I left my washing out last night. I didn't know it was going to rain today. That doesn't matter too much. Let's put a box here. And likewise, we should be above this line here, 4386, because they sold it. So we should be above. If we go down, it does mean that those guys, they make a little bit of profit. But if we fall, we're going to be hitting some supports, okay? And we've got this big old support here as well, which we could probably elongate maybe. And then at some point, I need to tidy up my charts and get rid of these boxes. But we've got a big old box, so that's going to be a support. So we should be above this one here. I'm going to cancel that. And so we would have to see how we go, won't we? Lots of risk events a day. And that CPI from Germany as well. Right, we've got our important level. So there's basically lots of support. So it respected it, pumped, and now we're back above it. They'd sold it, and so we don't need to make any more boxes. That was the last time they'd sold it, and that was the box that we drew yesterday, and up we come. Okay, and gold. I don't know if we'll have a video today on gold because we've got the PAL speech, like I keep saying, and it might just be better just to sit in your hands, because I was sitting on my hands yesterday and I was doing other things, and I had a more pleasurable, enjoyable day if I was, instead of watching charts. If I watch charts all day, it can make me a bit neurotic, and it can sort of make you a bit angry because things don't go according to plan. They do the opposite. They do like a ruse, some subterfuge, and then they go the way that you've predicted. But it has to come down to red stops. That's the thing with trading. There's volatility and liquidity, and it has to take that liquidity. But they'll pump volatility. They'll increase the rate of change until they've got their stops and until they've got their lunch money. And once they're happy with their lunch money, then they'll suck out the volatility, and then we'll cover bottom. So looks like we are obviously trending lower. They've gone long, which doesn't help, and we're going to be exceeding the weekly ATR or lower. And so if we go below that, we're going to be looking for longs, okay? But we'll look at that tomorrow. And also, I need to tell you is that I'm away in London tomorrow as well, because I'm seeing some friends. But I'll be around in the morning, but not around after 12 o'clock because I'll be in London. So there's the punishment zone there. All right, so that's it. So I'll wrap up now. Robots got dollar strength bias. We've got a little bit of weakness here. You can see we're technically trending lower, and they happen to go long, which doesn't really help. And we've got a box here we can draw too. And so yeah, is that right? Yeah, that's right. It's a big old box, that one. More or less, isn't it? They started to go long there. So we've got two resistances above. And that's it. So trade safely. Remember, I'm in London tomorrow about 11 AM, 12 PM onwards. And I might even not be able to reply to your messages because I'm seeing friends and I'm seeing a band in London. So if it's urgent, you can send me a message, but it might just be a little bit of a delay before I get back to you, okay? So trade safely, and I'll speak to you guys soon.